Tell us a little bit about the family you were born into, in what year and in what city, what location.
I was born in Berlin, in Germany, in the year 1926. My father, Heinz Karplus, was a physician. He had been a pediatrician, but changed to the new advances in radiology in the early 1900s and became a radiologist. He had his own laboratory in the apartment, the foyer becoming the waiting room and other rooms being the diagnostic and therapeutic x-rays, and the main sitting room there becoming his main office, a huge bookcase, library, the big leather armchairs in there. We
Tell us a little bit about your family and who was in your family, who was living in the place with you, and how they got there.
When I was very young, we had our living quarters right behind the business area of my father's X-ray consulting business, X-ray laboratory. There was a big Berlin room, and the corner of the apartment, the main part of the apartment was the front that faced the main road, and then there was the apartment was on two sides of a quadrangle. Our main living quarters were on the other wing of the apartment.
Who lived there with you?
When I was young, my parents lived in the far bedroom. My sister and I shared a sort of nursery room. Next to us was my father's mother, Henrietta Karplus. And next to that was a bathroom that had been converted to a dark room. Our main bathroom was between our nursery and the parents' bedroom. But next to the dark room was the main kitchen, and then there was the maid's room, and in front of that was then that Berlin dining room that we had in the corner of the building. It was a transit room because you had to walk through that room to get from the back of the apartment to the front part.
What were some of the favorite things that you did as a child, either games that you played or people you played with or places you went to?
Most of my memories now are playing with my sister and playing with my cousins, Eva, Dodi, and Hilda. George is my mother's youngest brother, who also lived in Berlin. We often met together on Sundays. We'd go to the Grunewald and go for hikes there.
What else?
Sorry.
That's okay. Good.
Pardon the pause, but you can cut that out, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
And also went to school. The first 4 grades I was in a private school that was within walking distance. Pardon me.
Start that sentence over again.
Hmm?
Start the story about school again.
Yes. I went to a private school for the first 4 grades. My sister went there, and also some of my friends were there. There was a particularly another colleague of my father's, Dr. Wassertrüdinger, and son Hans, we went to the same school there, and we often played together at home. We'd have a game of sorry or drafts. We were also learning chess, all sorts of. We also played ball in the park. The park near our house was Lietzensee Park. Lietzensee was a little lake where I used to like to go rowing in the summer and ice skating in the winter. That always was a lot of fun. My mother used to take us there. She'd strap on skates too, and she'd be skating with us. Well, in the winter, we sometimes went out in the Grunewald with cross-country skis. But mother never skied. She'd have to walk. But, my sister and I had some ski lessons, and we did. We never went anywhere else. We never took long trips. And my father was not very athletic. Sometimes on Sundays he'd come along too, and we'd walk. He and mother walked, and we'd have our skis. We didn't get that much snow in Berlin. It was nice on the pines to go skiing there.
Tell us a little bit about the school system that you went through.
I went to the private school. Elsa Pollai was the name of the principal. She owned the school. We probably had 4 teachers, but I don't remember that for sure. I remember her and I remember one other teacher. Well, I knew to read and write pretty well by the time I entered first grade. I never went to kindergarten or preschool or anything. My mother was taking care of us at home. And I had some piano lessons at home, English lessons at home.
Was there anything unique about that school that you would want to share?
There was only one class in each, probably about 20 kids, I don't remember for sure now, in each grade, so probably the whole schools. Maybe even fewer, I don't remember now for sure. But of course, once, that would be from 32 till 36. And at that point, of course, there was no option but to go to a Jewish school, although that would have been my preference anyway. We went to Private Waldschule Kaliski in Berlin-Dahlem. There was actually quite a treatise done on that by a group of professors at Oldenburg University who did a very nice job of writing a book on some of the biographies of the director, and they actually give a full list of all the students, and my name's in there, of course, and my sister Elsa's name's in there, and of course our current names. We usually traveled by underground, although I sometimes rode my bicycle there. It was a school that was a little different from the usual schools in Germany. In Germany, schools were till midday, usually 1 o'clock or so. Then the children went home for the main meal. Mittagessen was the main meal in Germany, and they went home. And after the afternoon, it was homework time and playtime. Well, but the Waldschule was a little different in that it was an all-day school. We had afternoon classes. In the afternoons, we usually didn't have academic studies. We had more practical studies, things that, especially at that time, there was an eye to immigration, and we learned a lot about taking care of ourselves. We had cooking and woodworking and other proficiencies which we were studying. Noontime we had a sort of dining room where we had our communal meal, and after that we had a rest period and deck chairs on the lawns or indoors. It was actually established in a villa down in Dahlem, where we had a rather nice piece of property, and they had a running track going around the whole property. Seems to me we even had a small swimming pool there, some courts, football field. We had classrooms in there which had been sort of refurbished from what had been a rather nice home for somebody.